Prima, go sis.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show is called First Things First. What's your first thing? My very first thing is always prayer, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Okay, so this is a Tuesday. We call it Talking Point Tuesday. Our days have names around here. Talking Point Tuesday. This is where we debunk and destroy the dumb stuff that politicians say, that corporations say, and that even sometimes we say when we're not paying attention to where we got a thing from and we're just repeating it for no good reason. So that's what we do on Talking Point Tuesday. Hour one, we look local, what's happening right here on the left coast side of town as we broadcast live from Leimert Park, a.k.a. Africatown, USA, Crenshaw District, okay, if you're not familiar. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond, and today we have even more than usual to unpack. I feel like I say that every day, though. I guess that's the flood the zone era in which we are currently living. And then hour three, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. Today, I'll be talking with astrologer Andy Nathanson. If you want a reading, this is another great astrologer. She'll take a look at your life if you want, but we also want to see some of these cycles that are impacting our news cycles, obviously, but we're going to take a look at it on another level. I'm being joined right now via phone by my friend and colleague. She is a professor at Cal State Long Beach in the Africana Studies Department. She's a host on this show. I mean, Cal State L.A. Sorry. Yeah, I'm in my flow. Okay, well, since you did that, Andy's here. Andy's filling in for Miles. And Andy, just so you know, it's a Talking Point Tuesday. Our days have names around here. Okay, so thank you, Andy, for filling in, holding it down for Miles Lowe, who has a few days off, I believe. Yeah, so we're doing that, and my terrible intro to the president of the International Global and Interstellar Prince Fan Club is on the phone. She's also the host of This Is Not a Drill, Saturday mornings from 8 to 10 on KBLA, and she's the director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. Dr. Melina Abdullah, good morning.
Good morning, Sister Dominique. Thanks for having me. And I thought that was Andy's voice. You know, I know Andy from before KBLA. He was my student.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Man, your students be everywhere.
Yes. It's a blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're happy to have him. Always glad to have Andy around. And I know Zoe and them will miss him in the afternoon. It seems like, you're going to work a double shift? Doggone it. I'm going to bring you some coffee. So it seems like 2026 is just shot out of a cannon. It's like we were chilling, the holidays, and then we got on the bullet train.
Yeah. We were hoping for a little bit of downtime, and we didn't get it, because there's a fascist in the White House, but also there are people locally who don't check fascism. And so it's been really, really jarring, and the entrance into 2026, the literal entrance into 2026 has been outrageous, beginning with the murder of Keith Porter on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and I feel like, people who listen to this show know what happened to Keith Porter, or as much as we know of what happened, which is that he was murdered by a supposedly off-duty, supposedly ICE agent in Northridge on New Year's Eve, the actual 31st. But It seems like it's starting to get, I'm starting to notice more people posting about it. People are very upset about it, as they should be. This man is a girl dad, and just from a family man, and just from, the candlelight vigil that I went to, I know there have been two of them. The love that people felt for this guy, just people, co-workers and regular folks that just knew him as friends, was amazing.
Yeah, he was a girl dad, two girls. One of them was a college student, 19-year-old college student, standout. Naya is away at school, and a 9-year-old, and he's described as like the loves of their life. And he just lit up and sparkled whenever he talked about his children. There's video of him talking about his children, photos of him with his girls. And he was his mother's only child. The love of his mother's life as well. He called her every single morning, even at 43 years old. He called his mother every single morning to make sure she was okay, because she's a single mom, His coworkers, the vigil that you were at, that we held on the 2nd, his coworkers at Home Depot say he was the most popular guy at the store, and just brought joy and was considered to be one of the most productive workers, but also came in to work with just delight, and would sometimes take extra jobs so he could make sure he supported his daughter, especially his daughter who's in school, in college. And I don't know, I haven't ever experienced somebody who nobody has anything bad to say about him. And the more I watch, the more I see videos. His best friend has been posting videos on Facebook every single day. The more I see of him, the more I learn to love Keith Porter, even after the theft of his life.
Well, and then his daughter made a video that is just heartbreaking. I mean, she, and his mother was at the L.A. City Council, and the way she spoke to them, I don't know that I've ever heard a justice family, a family who's had a loved one stolen from them by cops, speak that way, because what she was doing was a combination of talking about who her son was and what happened, and really pleading with them to do the right thing.
That's
really
right.
Pleading with them in the most humble and heartbroken way. And I just don't see how anyone could sit there and listen to that and not feel compelled to do something if they had the power to do so.
Yeah, and they do have the power to do so. And, of course, our hearts break with Sister Franciella and the entire family. So Keith Porter was an only child. However, he had the largest extended family and the most loving extended family. Of course, we found out about Keith Porter's murder right when he was killed, right after he'd been killed. His cousin is a member of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and a counselor with the Black Student Achievement Plan she organizes with Students Deserve. Her name is Janae Tyler. And they've just been phenomenal and steadfast in demanding justice, but also pleading for justice. As you're saying, one of the things that's really saddening and sickening and outrageous is that we haven't heard anything from especially our Black elected officials. We're grateful to Council Member Ionesis Hernandez for reaching out and asking if the family and community could come to help open City Council session in Keith's name on Friday. But, it was dismaying. I don't know if that's the right word, because it's bigger than that the council president, Marquise Harris Dawson, tried to rush it along. This is somebody that you should care about, Marquise, that Black elected officials especially should care about. We should be demanding justice. We should be saying that the murderer of Keith Porter has to be named and prosecuted and arrested. And the city does have the power to arrest the off-duty ICE agent who killed Keith Porter. And they have the power to say, stop with the character assassination that they're engaged in.
To be fair, has any city in America arrested an ICE agent that we know of?
No, but they've called for it.
Yeah,
so in Minneapolis, we've seen like the white mayor say that the ICE agent who called for the arrest of Jonathan Ross in the murder of Renee Good. And so, you know, remember when we look at the law, he was an off-duty ICE agent, not engaged in the work of his job, which means that he is not protected by qualified immunity.
Yeah. Do you think that that the murder of Renee Good by an on-duty ICE agent in Minneapolis is adding to people's understanding of what happened to Keith Porter and adding momentum to his family's quest for some semblance of justice?
Well, you know, I think that hashtag Be Good is right. And we see what's coming from her family as really indicative of what we mean by being a good white ally and accomplice for justice. That they cut off their GoFundMe and asked that people redirect their donations to support Keith Porter. That you're hearing from their family and from organizers in Minneapolis to also focus on Keith Porter. I think that what we're seeing, though, is the racism of America in focusing on Renee Good and neglecting Keith Porter. But we're grateful that, people who are entrenched in justice work, white allies are saying, no, we need to make sure that every time we say Renee Good, we also say Keith Porter.
We've got Kwamel from Gardena on the phone. Good morning, Kwamel.
Hello there. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
I didn't come with the fire I usually would come with, but I was thinking about a few things regarding what I'm hearing in the ether, especially on social media. It's been annoying, and Talking Point Tuesday is a good day to talk about it. Folks have been talking about why is someone talking about Keith Porter? Why is someone talking about Keith Porter? They keep talking about Renee Good, and I got really incensed because a lot of these same type of voices would love to bash Black Lives Matter. That's why I'm kind of glad Melina's on today. We're constantly diss them for various reasons, whatever thing they feel about, different people that are in the movement. And I'm like, okay, you're not gonna step up. You bash the people who would call attention to it. What do you expect? What do you possibly expect? And that just annoyed me to my core, as well as the thing I keep hearing said all over the place, which also speaks to this. People constantly saying something is not our fight, not our fight, not our fight, not our fight. A bunch of like reactionary foolishness, basically. And it's showing me that if you're saying something like that, chances are nothing's your fight. Because what do you step up for? That's why I'm glad 1580 is around to actually give folks political education, political literacy, media literacy, because these people on social media, they're just running their mouths saying the thing that sounds fly, sounds sexy in the moment. I'm like, you people are not going to do anything, but it basically is, and I'll leave you with this, take your comments on the air. It's nothing but a reactionary loop. People just feeding each other to get angrier and angrier and angrier, and basically doing what the oppressor wants to give us a permission, an excuse structure to do nothing. Thank you for your time. I'll take your comments off the air.
We'll unpack Kwamel's comment. We'll unbox them when we come forward. Dr. Melina Abdullah is with me. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Charmin Ultra Strong. You can use less, better than the rest. Charmin Ultra Strong. Your booty past the clean test. Salmon wave texture, it's the best. Study up, teach a lesson on fresh. Your booty past the clean test. Yes, sir. Charmin Ultra Strong.
Charmin Ultra Strong with diamond weave texture cleans better than the leading one-ply brand, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. L.A. County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress once again for their 34th annual summit. The summit's theme is From Vision to Action, a forum to unlock participatory democracy, and will feature a nonpartisan gubernatorial candidate forum focused on issues of importance to the African American community. The summit is the signature public policy-oriented observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy during the national 3-day holiday weekend that celebrates his life. This year's summit will be held on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 at the California Science Center in Exposition Park from 9 to 11 a.m. Admission is free, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. All major announced candidates for California governor for the Democratic and Republican Party nominations have been invited to participate in the candidate forum, which will be moderated by Tavis Smiley. An all-star panel of journalists will pose questions to the candidates, and the forum will be broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580. This is going to be a big year for local, state, and national politics. The political pulse of 2026 beats on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, Dr. Melina Abdullah is with me. You're invited to call in at 800-920-1580 anytime you want to, 800-920-1580, or hop on YouTube at KBLA 1580 and make a comment in the comments section. The delegation is always in there with some great points of view. So Kwamel had called us talking about how he's seeing Keith Porter Jr., who was murdered by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve, how he's seeing him represented on socials, and also this idea that this is not our fight, about everything. And I love the way he said those people probably don't think anything is their fight. What do you want to say regarding what Kwamel laid out there?
Yeah, I think he laid it out really powerfully. From the very beginning of this second Trump regime, we've been saying in Black Lives Matter Grassroots, we've been saying that the ICE raids and the unleashing of ICE and federal troops is terrible for Black people. And then when our city, when Los Angeles was under siege, beginning in June, we released another statement, and we said that we made 4 points, but the fourth point was that there's no point in history where more police, especially more federalized troops, other than Reconstruction, I guess, have been good for Black people. And we are terribly saddened to be proven right so quickly. The murder of Keith Porter shows how absolutely terrible ICE is and why Black people have to be involved in the fight. We can't sit it out, as some people were saying. And so we're mobilizing and we're calling for folks to stand up. We're mobilizing this morning to get to the LA Police Commission. We want to make sure that LAPD stops with the character assassination of Keith Porter. You talked about his daughter's video where she's also pleading, stop calling her dad a suspect. Stop calling him an active shooter. He is a victim. He's a crime victim. And so we're going to police commission to say that for Naya, but we're also going there to say that ICE agent who killed Keith Porter needs to be named and arrested. If he were anybody else, he'd be named and arrested. So we don't want some just general statement, oh, it's under investigation. We all know what happens when they say that, which is absolutely nothing. We demand that there's some semblance of justice in the name of Keith Porter, which begins with the naming and arrest of the ICE agent who killed him. So, long way of saying Kwamel is right, and it's time to not sit it out, to jump in it with all of our 10 toes down in the fight for justice for Keith Porter.
Yeah, I think that this idea of, we've been talking about this ever since they unleashed National Guard and ICE on the streets of regular American cities, that really, in a completely just world, the police department would be protecting its citizens from being thrown on the ground, harassed, and really having their civil rights violated. But I haven't seen that happening, and I know that ICE... In a way, ICE is law enforcement. But I say in a way because they don't have the kind of whatever supervision that law enforcement does have, and they don't have training. We don't really know who a lot of these folks are. We can guess, we can speculate, but it's like law enforcement, a more lawless version of police. So I just don't see, because that police connectivity, I just don't see city cops arresting ICE, even if the mayor calls for it. I know not just Glenn Frey in Minneapolis, but also Zoran Mamdani in New York has said such as that. I just don't even know if police departments would follow that order if it was given.
Well, we got to also remember so I think saying it is an important point, right? So I think that what Mayor Johnson is doing in Chicago is phenomenal. What Mamdani is calling for in New York, and at least Frey's willingness to step up and say that they would like to, that they want to, calling for the arrest of Jonathan Ross is really important. I think we need to expect more of Karen Bass. I think we need to expect more of our city council members. But also we got to remember that it's connected to who they put in charge of the police department. If people remember why Jim McDonnell was not reelected as sheriff, part of it was because he was collaborating with ICE. Why do we expect him to do anything different as police chief? It doesn't mean that we don't push him, though, because they're all politicians. In the end, their goal is to get elected and reelected. So the people have to stand up and say, if you don't do this, you won't get elected or reelected. So we're mobilizing to police commission today at 9:30 to say, Jim McDonnell, if you don't arrest the killer and name the killer, then you're out. And Karen Bass, if you don't make sure that he's out, then you're out, right? We have to create accountability wherever we can. If they won't hold the police who are killers accountable, then they need to be held accountable.
So police commission meeting is this morning.
police commission meeting is this morning at 9:30. We're encouraging people to get there by 9 o'clock. They like to start exactly on time so they can get us out of there quickly. So we want to make sure that we fill up that room and everybody say the name Keith Porter. If you have Keith Porter gear, wear it. If you have Black Lives Matter gear, wear it. Make sure that they know what's happening. I'm not a mathematician. In fact, some of y'all call it Melina math. But I was looking at the numbers of killings where, Los Angeles has the lowest murder rate that we've had in any year since 1956 per capita, except for police killings, which are up by 70%. And that's not including killings at the hands of ICE. And so we need to rein this in. We need to rein in the murders of our people at the hands of police. And if LAPD wants to be something different than what these folks are, who are essentially the brown shirts of the Nazi regime, right? This is the new millennium Gestapo, right? If they want to be something different, then they have to show that there's something different and fight against ICE agents who are killing African-American people along with many other folks. But, people who were born and raised here are being targeted by ICE.
Yeah, I call them Trump's ICE Gestapo because it really is kind of like his personal army. But that meeting, the police commission meeting, is at 100 West 1st Street in L.A., 100 West 1st Street. We'll continue this conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is suing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, claiming a punishment over video urging troops to refuse illegal orders violates his constitutional rights.
That's why today I filed a lawsuit against the Secretary of Defense to protect my rights, the rights of retired veterans, and the rights of all Americans.
Hegseth called the video seditious. A Chattanooga pastor is headed to prison. Ricky Lee Taylor Jr., who is black, was sentenced to 30 months for a $1.8 million COVID-19 relief fraud scheme. Prosecutors say he used fake businesses to get PPP loans and spent the money on luxury items. He must also pay restitution. And Helena Moreno is officially New Orleans' 63rd mayor. She was sworn in at the Sanger Theater by former Vice President Kamala Harris, becoming the city's first Hispanic and second female mayor. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Your drive through Hollywood remains busy following that wreck involving a semi. On the 101 northbound between Vermont Avenue and Melrose Avenue, all lanes are still shut down until further notice. It looks like if the backup starts all the way from the 110, it's adding 40 minutes to your commute. And if you want to take an alternative route, if possible, you may want to exit Alvarado West to Beverly and take Normandy North to the 101 on-ramp in the meantime.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A milestone night Monday for Clippers guard James Harden. In the Clippers' 117-109 win over Charlotte at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, Harden passed Shaquille O'Neal for 9th place on the NBA's all-time scoring list. Harden dropped 32 points to give him a career total of 28,614. Shaq had 28,596 in his 19-year career. The 36-year-old Harden is in his 16th season. The Lakers have lost 3 straight after losing at Sacramento Monday night, 124-112. The number one topic in the NFL today is the status of Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, one of 4 African-American head coaches in the NFL. Tomlin is also the longest active coach in the NFL with 19 seasons in Pittsburgh. The Steelers' 30-6 loss to Houston last night in the AFC playoffs opened the door to discussions about Tomlin's future. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready? Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Join Ignited Light at the 10th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, Saturday, January 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Holman United Methodist Church, 3320 West Adams Boulevard, west of Arlington. This service for humanity brings together community providers offering free food and clothing, medical screenings, legal, dental, academic, and career services, plus vaccinations, flu shots, HIV and STD testing, and blood pressure checks. All are welcome. That's January 17th at Holman United Methodist Church. For more information, go to adayon.org. That's adayon.org. Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. SMP volunteers work in their community, educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an SMP open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caSMPvolunteer.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Guess who's on the air with me this morning? I'll give you one guess. Dr. Melina Abdullah. Had to get you all the way up with this one. Yes, indeed. And it's so crazy how this stuff seems to keep unfolding in Minneapolis. I'm sure Prince is somewhere looking down with something to say about it.
I said if I lived in Minneapolis, or if my full-time job were being president of the Prince fan club, we put out a graphic that says, "We told you the revolution started in Minneapolis."
Of course you would.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and for folks who don't know what I'm talking about, his band was The Revolution. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right, in case you're not part of the Prince fan club. Some really interesting comments here in the chat, but since it's a Talking Point Tuesday, I wanted to at least point out the talking point that we're hearing from Stephen A. Smith, and he's really doubling down on this idea that the shooting in Minneapolis, the killing of Renee Nicole Good, was her fault, that it was unnecessary, and that the ICE agent was completely justified in firing his gun at her.
So let me say this, which I know you're going to try to pull me back from later, because isn't he a sports commentator?
Yes. A sports commentator who claims he's running for president, by the way, in 2028.
Why is he talking? He needs to be quiet. He's a sports commentator who doesn't like black women. He needs to be quiet. He's a sports commentator who doesn't know what he's talking about. He needs to be quiet. He needs to be quiet. I don't watch him. I've seen a few of his clips. I don't watch him, but he's disgusting, and he's pimping this out and taking a contrarian stance, a despicable stance, in order to boost his own ego and boost his own platform. Forget him. He's disgusting. That's disgusting.
I think it is disgusting. It's interesting that this is not a black woman, because I'm used to him steadily dissing Serena Williams and other people. And I'm not going to lie. I was happy to see Serena's husband check him. And it was so interesting to see how he kowtowed to the wealthy white man who is married to Serena. But that's another show for another day. I guess, though, the reason I bring it up is not so much Stephen A. Smith, but this is a MAGA talking point. I mean, this is what Kristi Noem is saying, who happens to be the Secretary of, Homeland Security. This is what
Who's an idiot, right?
Yeah, clearly. And what people, I know a guy who tried that, tell me that on Instagram and the DMs, and he's definitely a MAGA guy, Latino, by the way. So this talking point is spreading. If she would have complied, she wouldn't have died, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I hate that we even have to speak to that talking point. No, that's not true. Watch the video. When she said, "I'm not mad at you. She was the kindest you could possibly be in that situation, even though she shouldn't have to be kind. She shouldn't have to be kind when these ICE agents have her community under siege. I think that she is just, as we lift up Keith Porter, I do also want to say that we need more white allies like Renee Good. I just feel the goodness dancing out of her. And she was there because Black and brown communities are under attack by ICE, because in Minneapolis, Somalis are under attack by ICE, and they can't tell if you Somali or African American. So all y'all who say, we don't care about migrants, know that they don't know if you Somali or if you were born in Texas. They don't know the difference. Brown folks are under attack, and Renee Good decided to step up and peacefully serve as an observer. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, and was so calm and so kind and so compliant, even in the face of this ICE agent who had all of these other complaints against him. It's not like he had a stellar record, right? All these other complaints against him. So I hate that we have to push back against that. But two, you shouldn't have to be perfect to deserve your life.
Right.
So even if she weren't compliant, even if she had pushed back, even if she were doing something that was offensive in some way, You don't get to kill this mother of 3 people because of it. Even if Keith Porter were shooting his gun in the air to celebrate New Year's, you don't get to kill him.
Yeah, the penalty
You
is
don't
not
get to
death.
kill him.
I mean, that's another
right.
talking point I've been hearing on socials. Well, he was doing something illegal. He was shooting his gun in the air. Well, when you're speeding, does that mean the cop can just shoot you and execute you on sight? People do illegal stuff all the time. It's part of being a human, and they're not punishable by death, and cops don't get to decide when you are executed. There was no trial, there was no due process. There was not even a fair warning. He just shot her. F and B, boom, boom, boom. And we don't know what words were said with Keith Porter because there's no tape. But I can't imagine he got a fair warning here. C. Riggs is in the YouTube chat, which is at KBLA 1580, and he says, "Isn't that the same as saying shut up and dribble?" He says, "I agree with her, but isn't it the same?" And he's referencing, Stephen A.
Well, I think Stephen A. Smith, I think he's despicable. So I don't know, maybe it's the progressive version. Maybe it's a revolutionary version of saying it. Shut up. Yes, I am saying shut up. And,
Can Stephen A. dribble? I'm not sure if he can dribble. But I guess what he's saying is
he can only talk about other people dribbling.
I guess what he's saying is you're telling him to stay in his lane, and he's saying he has a right to free speech, and your free speech says you have the right to tell him to shut up. So I can understand the point. I think it's a fair point, but I don't have a lot of sympathy for Stephen A. in this case.
Yeah, I have none. I have no sympathy for him, and I do wish he would just shut up. I wish he would shut up. I wish he would stop being used, pimping himself out to be used by the radical right wing in order to be a blackface on white supremacy and on fascism.
B. Bell calls him Stephen A. Hole Smith in the chat.
That's right.
And B also says ICE stands for Independent Criminal Entity. Somebody else was musing and wondering, and I can't see your comment anymore, so I don't know who it was, but it was an interesting point about whether or not ICE would be used in the midterms as a deterrent at the polls.
Probably. It probably will be. It's being used as an intimidation tool and a threat. It's, I guess, more than intimidation because they're actually killing people. They're actually arresting people. They're actually wrestling mothers and children. If you watch what's happening in Minneapolis right now, children to the ground. Yeah, probably. They're being unleashed everywhere. And, this is, when you look at the numbers, the $170 billion in new funding for ICE, it's the largest federal agency in the history, federal law enforcement agency in the history of this country.
Fahima Sek is in the chat pointing out that there are local law enforcement bodies that are actively collaborating with ICE, and I'm not sure, but I think she's making the point to say that, say, a New York or an L.A. is at least not actively collabing, at least officially. But I'm looking at this list from Cal Matters of these enforcement agencies that are actively collaborating, and they're almost all small. And they're all mostly in the South, except for Pennsylvania. I mean, it's Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. They're mostly small county sheriffs.
Yeah, and we have a police chief who, as sheriff, actively collaborated with ICE. So he may not be doing it in the name of LAPD officially, but, I can say that when we're at ICE protests, it's actually not ICE that tear gassed me. It's actually not ICE that brutalized Bob Akili. It was LA County Sheriff and LAPD.
Talking with Dr. Melina Abdullah. You're welcome into the conversation, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, or hop on YouTube at KBLA 1580 and get your comment in that way. I'm Dominique DePrima, and this is unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
You make my day. With your Los Angeles Public Library card, you can access the latest music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels, and more, all for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
Still battling a thirsty lawn that guzzles water and drains your wallet? Let LADWP turn that patch of grass into a gorgeous, drought-smart garden for free. We're talking a full California-friendly landscape makeover designed and installed by pros at no cost to you. That's right, LADWP does the work, you get the upgrade. Ready to transform your yard and save big? Visit ladwp.com/leap. That's ladwp.com/LEAP.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Okay, we don't have time this morning probably to go into it. We need to do a whole other hour about this, Dr. Melina Abdullah. But you wrote an op-ed, I Used to Love Her, H-E-R, talking about Mayor Karen Bass. And it's really, I think the way I read it, it's about Mayor Bass, but it's also a broader statement about politicians, progressive politicians, especially black ones, who we elect, and they prioritize getting reelected rather than prioritizing what's best for us. That's my summary of what you wrote.
Yeah, I think that's a great summary. Absolutely. And I think that as we talk about Keith Porter, the word that you used earlier when you talked about Keith Porter's mom pleading for help, pleading for justice in Keith Porter's name, in a sense, that column is also a plea. Karen Bass, Mayor Bass, you and I both go way back with her. I go back 30 years with Karen Bass. I met her when I first moved to Los Angeles. And I know that she is steeped in progressive values. I know that Marquise Harris Dawson, the president of our city council, who used to call himself my best friend in the whole world, is what he used to say. I know that he is steeped in progressive values. And somehow they've abandoned and betrayed those values. That they know that they should be speaking up for Keith Porter. They know that they shouldn't be spending the city's dollars on an LAPD that is now, again, killing 70% more people, shooting 70% more people than it has in the past, that has a record number. This number of police shootings is the highest it's been since 1992. They know that department shouldn't be rewarded with more money. They know they shouldn't be appointing Jim McDonnell, who was so bad as county sheriff that he was replaced by Alex Villanueva. Alex Villanueva, right? They know what they should be doing, and they're abandoning those values. They're betraying those values so that they can get elected and reelected. But the reminder, and then I'll be quiet after this, the reminder is also that Karen was elected in 2022 despite the opposition and the $3.5 million that LA Police Protective League spent to keep her from being elected. So why are you kowtowing to them now? You shouldn't be. You should be really reminding yourself that we need a progressive in office who's willing to do the courageous thing and the righteous thing. That's why the community in Chicago is behind Mayor Johnson. That's how Mamdani won in New York. Run on that. Run on that. Don't run on a betrayal of progressive values.
Paul in the chat says, I read the article and I appreciate holding Mayor Bass accountable in that column. B. Bell says a lot of these black politicians end up going along to get along. And I would add to that there's a lot of things we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what she's up against, what she's facing. But I do feel strongly that we need to see these progressive wins, whether it's from Mayor Bass or Council President Harris Dawson or Zoran Mandami, or Eunice Hernandez, whoever it is. If you run as a progressive, but particularly a black progressive, we need to see wins. I understand compromise, but we need to see wins. Where are the wins for us? That's what we need to see. Since we're going everywhere, I probably shouldn't be taking you this morning. The sheriff, Sheriff Luna, put out slammed Starbucks, put out a statement on his social media, very angry because apparently a Starbucks worker gave a coffee cup to a cop with a hand-drawn picture of a pig on it. Starbucks has since apologized to the LA County Sheriff's Department. They're saying that the cop was working 16 hours, that the incident was offensive and unacceptable. The sheriff personally contacted corporate security at Starbucks, and an apology has been issued. I don't know if the worker kept their job or whatever, but that happened.
Go Starbucks Workers United. So we're not with Starbucks as a corporation. We're with the Starbucks workers. Starbucks Workers United. Good for them. It was actually a really good drawing of a pig. And if people agree with
You're
it,
stupid.
There's
You did not say it was a good drawing of a pig.
But Starbucks workers are also fighting for their rights as workers, and SBWorkersUnited.org is where Starbucks workers are uniting and organizing. So look, good for them. Good for them. Whatever little shows of resistance you can take them.
It's so interesting that Starbucks says, well, the worker was drawing John Pork, which is an internet meme. I wasn't familiar with it. But in any case, kind of like trying to say the worker didn't really mean anything by it. We don't know if that worker got fired or what happened with them. All we know is that Starbucks has apologized. I thought it was interesting that the sheriff would make a whole statement, even though it was on his personal account, like, a whole rant. I get that. You don't want to be dissed, but folks don't want to be shot. They don't want to be beat up. They don't want to be pepper sprayed. Is that also offensive? I'm just asking.
Your feelings are hurt. That the deputy's feelings are hurt because he got a picture of a pig.
And you and I have talked about this. I don't believe in name calling. I don't think we should be calling cops pigs. I know, we can agree to disagree. I know we don't agree on that. I think if you want them to act, with humanity, we have to treat them with humanity. But for the sheriff to be making a whole statement about that, really?
Right. What a waste of time. They waste. Also, why is Starbucks? Why are they always up in Starbucks? Why are they always in a coffee shop and eating donuts? Like, this is the least work that cops don't work hard. They don't work hard. Where do you see them working hard unless they're brutalizing people? They don't work hard. Anyway, Dominique, I really want to encourage people to meet us and make all those points at the police commission meeting. I know we're running out of time. So,
yes.
Police commission meeting this morning at 9:30. Also, we're launching a petition right now. So I'm actually trying to type the petition and talking to you at the same time. So on our social media, BLM Grassroots and BLM Los Angeles, on Instagram, and BLM L.A, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, we're launching a petition to demand that Chief McDonnell name and arrest the ICE agent that killed Keith Porter. So we need everybody to sign that petition, even if you can't make it down to police commission meeting this morning. If you can, though, please meet us there. I'll get there around 9 o'clock. It starts at 9:30. It's 100 West 1st Street, 100 West 1st Street. So we want everybody to be there to make public comment, even if all you can say is justice for Keith Porter. Or if you don't want to make a comment and just show solidarity, your presence means something.
Okay. BLM Grassroots and Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, I'm sure we'll be able to find the petition there, right?
Yes.
Dr. Abdullah, thank you. News, traffic, and sports, and the phone lines are wide open. And let's talk about the national and international goings-on. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly is suing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, claiming a punishment over video urging troops to refuse illegal orders violates his constitutional rights.
That's why today I filed a lawsuit against the Secretary of Defense to protect my rights, the rights of retired veterans, and the rights of all Americans.
Hegseth called the video seditious. A Chattanooga